Hey, come on, woman. I can make you feel like a true female. I'm in a sinful has never hurt anyone.
Oh my god. Why?
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Hello, friends. Trace amounts of science.
Today we're jumping back into Schopenbeard. There was one previous part in which we went through the first 4 stories, and today I think we're going to wrap up the next 3. That'll be another saga complete. OP waited so long for this to happen, so I appreciate your patience. Let's get into it. The Saga of Schopenbeard Revisited. Part 5. Horror at the Tabletop. It happens. Oh, 1. Yeah, it's a 2-part sub-stories where part 6 is part 2. Whatever, I'm sorry. Greetings, fellow aficionados of facial fur follies. Gather round and allow me to weave the tale of the 5th entry in the Saga of Schopenbeard. Horror at the Tabletop 1. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say horror. Horror. So secure your body pillows, extract those tantalizing tendies from the oven, hopefully covered in ludicrous amounts of liquid butter, and brace yourselves for the impending Cringe Fest. Trigger warning, this part of the story delves into some dark territory, mentioning adult themes. Oh, come on, man, I thought it was just a tabletop. Does it get that weird? Probably it does. We know how Neckbeard Tabletop goes, don't we? As a quick recap, at this point I've endured Schopenbeard's presence for about 4 months, navigating through minor cringe-inducing encounters, his demeaning comments, attempts at black humor, and general derailment of anything resembling decency. Yeah, he's trying to be an agent of chaos, but he just comes across like an annoying douche. This particular escapade transpired in the following semester, where some of my high school friends entered the same university. Eager to integrate them with my university comrades, Mr. Wild, Mr. Logic, and Miss Lackin, I attempted introductions. Alas, Schopenbeard stuck to them like a clingy shadow, casting his peculiar brand of gloom over our interactions. Oh, you mean gloom like in Pokemon?
It gives off a powerful aroma that can cause those who smell it to faint from 2 miles away.
Uh-oh, stinky. I regaled tales of past D&D campaigns, and Schopenbeard, for reasons unbeknownst to me, decided to dip his toes into the realm of role-playing. Yeah, please don't do that. I know you're going to make it really weird, so just please don't do that. To accommodate his newfound interest, I invited him to a campaign that I was planning to run as the GM. I mean, hopefully you can keep him in check maybe, but the fact that you didn't tell him off while you had a date? Like a D&D campaign is a slightly more open thing than a date. And if you couldn't do it then, I'm not sure you can do it now. But maybe OP's grown and evolved since the last tale. At least I hope so. Meanwhile, Mr. Sorcerer, my cousin and best friend, and Mr. Ozzy, who was a high school friend, joined the party, leading us to embark on 2 seemingly innocent sessions before everything went awry. Is he gonna start abusing NPCs or something like that? I guess we'll see. So let's meet our dramatis personae, OP, yours truly, male philosophy major, Schopenbeard, our towering big boy neckbeard, 6'3", adorned with a black ponytail, button shirt, dress jacket, cargo pants, and a bona fide neckbeard. Obsessed with One Piece, purveyor of cringe-inducing comments, and proud owner of a robust superiority complex. I don't know if cringe-inducing comments is quite enough. Like, he refers to women as cattle. The misogyny runs deep, although I guess maybe it doesn't come up on this campaign, because it seems to be all dudes. We got Mr. Ozzy, a cherished friend, short and chubby, bedecked in all black goth / metalhead attire, a touch of neckbeard aesthetic a la bowler beard. Yeah, see, not all beards are bad beards. The sorcerer, my cousin, the master of nerddom, with Jesus-style brown hair and beard clothed in nerdy garb, a literary connoisseur. as most sorcerers are wont to be, I suppose. Mr. Luther, an ex-junkie on the path to redemption, now studying theology to become a pastor, skinny with Jesus-style brown hair, sans the beard, donning basic attire, a generally decent guy, albeit with occasional beardy tendencies. I mean, that goes without saying. You're sitting down to play tabletop. At a certain point, I'm going to expect certain things. Anyway, with our cast established, let the tabletop neckbeard cringe unfold. Our tale unfolds during Schopenbeard's foray into the realms of theology and philosophy, where he encounters Mr. Luther and becomes an unwitting participant in our tabletop escapades. And boy, do I love tabletop escapades. Theater of the mind. Picture this, if you will. A dimly lit study room in the university library. The stage for an unforgettable journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. In the first semester, our party, comprising Mr. Ozzy, a homeless and antisocial ranger, the sorcerer, a classic knight in shining armor, and Mr. Luther, an unforgiving cleric with a hatred for the undead, gathered for a campaign masterminded by yours truly, a former edgelord on the brink of neckbeardism. No, P. you fallen deeply into neckbeardism. You're GMing a D&D tabletop game, okay? That's okay. Most of us are beards in recovery. I see you're still a bit in denial about it, but I'm not going to hold that against you. It's a hard thing to come to grips with, isn't it? So Schopenbeard, our enigmatic half-orc wizard, entered the scene as that guy, infamous for attempting to romantically engage with anything that moved, even if it meant disrupting quests or causing chaos within the party. Bro, you ain't even gonna get a first town. He's gonna try to seduce an innkeeper. Turns out she's a max level monk. Boom. Dead. The adventure began in a tavern and inn, a classic setting for any D&D campaign. A mysterious figure summoned our intrepid party with promises of great riches. As the first ones to arrive, Mr. Ozzy and the sorcerer engaged in a brief discussion while awaiting their mysterious benefactor. In walked Mr. Luther, investigating necromantic activity on behalf of his parish, and Schopenbeard, who of course wasted no time in pursuing the barmaid.
Well, what have we here? Your god sent of a wench. Fetch me those jugs, will you?
He proclaimed triumphantly, pointing at my chest as he unleashed a Sanda Shuriku. That should have been my warning of the upcoming train crash, but I naively thought, it's his first time, I guess. That's a pretty usual thing that happens. Big mistake. See, I'm telling you, bro, you're not nipping this shit in the bud, bro. It's gonna make it a lot harder a little bit later. I, DMing as the barmaid, of course, rejected his advances and inquired about what he wanted, to which he replied,
Nothing. Just a little, adventure.
While looking at his nether regions. God.
What's that? Is that the head?
Yeah.
Oh, looks good, huh?
Luckily, the sorcerer went to the rescue, exclaiming while he gestured with his hand,
Oh, hello. You must also be an adventurer. Come here.
Leave that poor barmaid alone. Schopenbeard, to my surprise, answered the call, but not without making everyone cringe by saying, in an intentionally creepy tone,
I'll be back, wench. See you soon.
As he licked his lips before a tiny Sanda Shuriku. As our valiant adventurers gathered in the good old tavern, Schopenbeard couldn't resist showcasing his eccentricity. Do you really have to open like this, bro? Can't we be normal for one session and then you sort of like raise the freak flag a little bit to see how people take it? If you can't handle me at my... then you don't deserve me at my... Schopenbeard proudly introduced himself as an Epicurean wizard, a term he seemed to misunderstand quite spectacularly, a nihilist hedonist on a quest fueled by a questionable interpretation of Epicureanism. Does he want to eat people? Is that what's going to happen? Lo and behold, the plot thickened as a mysterious figure draped in a black cloak graced the party with his presence. His words, laden with an air of mystery, echoed through the room. "Greetings, adventurers. Thank you for answering my summons. I trust you had no issues finding the tavern." In mere seconds, he revealed the crux of their quest. "The necromancer I need disappeared. He's in a cave about 2 days east from here. Look for a blue tree, and you shall find him." With that enigmatic proclamation, he departed, leaving our party to ponder the imminent adventure which awaited them. The weary travelers, enveloped in the darkness of the late hour, opted to rest for the night. However, Schopenbeard, driven by a different kind of thirst, approached the bar top with intentions less noble than vanquishing undead foes.
"Wench, remember me? We still have unfinished business."
No, I think we're closed. So of course, the stage was set for Schopenbeard's peculiar advances, and the ensuing interaction teetered on the edge of cringe. Again, I don't think we're teetering. You're actively being flirted with by a neckbeard as you roleplay a barmaid. Again, I think we're at least knee-deep in the cringe at this point. It could get worse. Yesterday it got a lot worse. Did you miss that in the Funky Peace Saga? God. You should definitely check it out. I'll leave it on the end card for you. The party could only really watch in a mix of horror and amusement as I replied, acting as the waitress. "Yeah, sorry, do you need anything else? I'm closing for the night." However, Schopenbeard, undeterred by the lateness of the hour, boldly declared,
"My chambers, now! I won't say it again."
Who the do you think you are?
No, whoa.
This is exactly what he thinks roleplay is. Did nobody explain to him how D&D works? I think you'd be more comfortable playing Fatal. In an attempt to maintain the semblance of orders, I continued my roleplay. "No, gross, I'm married, but there's a gentleman's club a few blocks from here." Much to my chagrin, Schopenbeard, with an out-of-character glee, proclaimed,
"OP, I go to the brothel, and I spend the night there."
Cool, yeah, okay, that's totally a thing that happened. Now what? Alas, the die was cast, and I, the inexperienced dungeon master, reluctantly conceded so as to appease the beast. However, in hindsight, that was another big mistake, for if you give an inch to a neckbeard, he will take a few miles. Did you have to roleplay as one of the bar girls? You really only just delayed your humiliation for a couple of minutes. Hopefully he just went off by himself and didn't require anyone to use their imagination. Okay, the night passes without incident. You did whatever you did. Roll a d20 to see if you got an STD. Oh, it's a 1. Now you have AIDS. ReddX brand Super AIDS. Catch the fun.
He's got AIDS!
So as morning dawned, the party regrouped, perhaps cringe-scarred by the events of the night, and set forth on their quest to the necromancer's lair. Little did they know that Schopenbeard's eccentricities were only just beginning to unfold, promising more cringeworthy moments and unforeseen twists in the adventure that lay ahead. Just don't present him with any women NPCs from now on, okay? That's gonna get really weird. Having marched for a day and a half, the party, led by Mr. Ozzy's keen eyes, stumbled upon a tree with enchanting green and blue leaves, marking the entrance to an ominous cave. Setting up camp for the night, they rested, preparing for the challenges that awaited them in the heart of darkness. As dawn's light pierced through the cave's entrance, our adventurers, fueled by curiosity and a touch of foolhardiness, entered the damp and dimly lit cavern. To illuminate their path, Mr. Luther, the unforgiving cleric, cast light on his mace, creating a makeshift lantern.
All right, boys, now we're doing some dungeon delving.
I love it. Their journey within the cave led them to a foreboding stone door, a clear indication that dungeons were afoot. The sorcerer, ever contemplative, scratched his beard and pondered aloud.
That looks like a dungeon. How are we gonna get past this door?
Enter Schopenbeard with a remark that sent shivers down the spines of all present.
Fingers crossed for a schmeck's dungeon.
Wow, good one, dude. Quite possibly it is that thing you said, and wouldn't that be hilarious? What am I supposed to say to this? Though cringeworthy, the party opted to overlook Schopenbeard's peculiar comment, hoping for a swift resolution. Yeah, as we've learned, that doesn't work. Mr. Ozzy, with a coarse voice that echoed through the cavern, declared,
"Smells like evil to me."
Undeterred, Mr. Luther, wielding his mace like a beacon of righteousness, proclaimed,
"Fear not. I smell the evil lock, but I shall break it with the fury of the sun."
Oh, yeah, fury of the sun. That's his mace, by the way. I just made that part up right now, but now his mace talks, okay? Detecting undead presences, but no evil blocking the door, the sorcerer, a seasoned tabletop veteran, turned to Schopenbeard.
Try detecting magic.
With an out-of-character glee, Schopenbeard declared,
All right, I cast it, OP.
Oh, look how happy he is to be of use. Finally. OP says I, in the role of narrator, directed the unfolding drama. All right, roll for it, and you detect a blocking spell on the door. So what do? In a moment of unexpected brilliance, Schopenbeard declared,
I break the spell.
Yes, very good. With a successful roll, the spell was shattered, unveiling the path forward. The dungeon proved to be a simple layout, with a corridor leading to a door at the end. Schopenbeard, ever impulsive, willy-nilly entered the corridor, prompting the sorcerer to intervene, pulling him back by his tunic.
There may be traps ahead. Ozzy, do your thing.
Ever the skilled ranger, Mr. Ozzy took charge, sniffing out potential traps. True to his instincts, he discovered wire-triggered guillotines and, with average rolls, disarmed them. The party progressed to the final door, which the sorcerer, embodying knightly valor, destroyed with a flourish. That's the only thing we got to kill so far is a door? Come on, bring on some combat! I'm gonna murder hobo my whole way through this dungeon. Behind the door did await a cowled figure, uttering ominous words.
So, I see someone's found me. Oh, never you mind. You'll be undead before you know it.
And in an unexpected turn, the necromancer summoned 7 zombies, setting the stage for a chaotic battle. Ask and you shall receive, I suppose. The sorcerer, Ozzybeard, and Mr. Luther engaged multiple foes, leaving 2 for Schopenbeard. Unconventionally, he eschewed his wizardly spells, opting instead to dispatch the undead with a dagger, and, yeah, sadly he did survive.
I'm saving my spells, dude. There might be a fight coming up.
Like, yeah, dude, you're in the fight currently. Cast magic missile! So, with the undead vanquished, the necromancer, realizing the impending threat, attempted to escape. However, Mr. Luther, seizing the moment, rolled a nat 20, obliterating the necromancer's skull with a holy mace in a heroic but rushed action. OP thought he was gonna let that necromancer get away, be the big bad for the whole thing. They struck him dead. What do you do now? As the dust from the battle settled, our victorious but bewildered party found themselves contemplating their next move, akin to the fishes in the plastic bags of the Nemo movies. Mr. Ozzy, ever pragmatic, declared,
Time for looting!
Among the spoils, they discovered a note revealing a summoning to a grand necromancer reunion in the south. With 4 hours of intense gameplay behind them, the session concluded, leaving the players both satisfied and perhaps scarred by just a touch of cringe. As they bid farewell, little did they know that the next session would mark the end of the campaign, thanks to all the cringe-worthy antics of Schopenbeard. Stay tuned for the next thrilling adventure, where the saga continues to unfold in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons. May your rolls be nat 20s and your days free of neckbeards. Yeah, as long as you can keep him away from the opposite gender, he seems to do pretty alright, you know? I'm of a firm belief that if you never put another female as one of the NPCs, he could play D&D just fine. He takes orders in that. But yeah, not interacting with 50% of the world's population is sort of a difficult way to live. I guess we'll continue on and see how and why exactly this campaign was doomed for failure. So join me over there. The Saga of Schopenbeard Revisited, Part 6, Horror, at the tabletop, number 2. Super duper. Greetings and salutations, dear readers. Welcome, welcome. Gather round for the second part of Schopenbeard's Tabletop of Cringe. The cast and the trigger warning are the same as the past entry, so grab a trusty potion of Dew of the Mountain and please buckle your seatbelts. Indeed, they remain so. Let's rock and roll. As the echoes of the first session faded away, our intrepid band of adventurers eagerly booked their calendars for the second and final chapter. I mean, they didn't know it was the final one at the time, right? A week later, our group convened in a study room within the hallowed halls of the theology faculty, courtesy of Mr. Luther, for another round of Dungeons and Dragons. Little did I suspect the brewing storm that awaited, a storm that would transform me from a laid-back dungeon master into a punishing dungeon master. Punishing dungeon master is a good way to be. I'm here to be challenged. I want my character to actually die or be on the verge of death, because then you really feel like it's a victory. Laid-back D&D, it's the lamest thing ever, bro. Just a little trollop through a field while you get free levels. Fuck that.
Boring.
Hurt me. Following the discovery of this mysterious necromancer note, the party gathered to strategize their next move. The sorcerer, taking charge, declared, "It's high time we pursue this band of necromancers plaguing the world, and as a bonus, we could earn a handsome reward." Mr. Luther, ever fervent, responded,
Indeed, high time. They'll be smitten by the true, unforgiving light of God.
Cool. Light of God. A sense of foreboding lingered as Mr. Ozzy, with a grim tone, expressed his reservations.
I don't know. Something smells fishy. Like that smelly smell that smells smelly. We should head back to the cantina and locate our employer. Besides, the journey requires extra funding or a raise.
Schopenbeard, breaking his usual whimsical demeanor, chimed in with a serious tone.
Agreed. Besides, there's still a wedge to pursue.
Oh my God, he's really sinking his claws in, isn't he? Not letting that imaginary milady go for a second, are ya? An awkward silence enveloped the room, broken only by the sorcerer's decisive words.
No, it's best to keep moving. The sooner we halt the undead menace, the better.
As the party readied themselves for the impending quest, little did they know that the delusions made in this fateful interaction would set the stage for a journey fraught with unexpectedly heavy cringe, ensuring that the tale of these adventures would be etched into the annals of Neckbeard lore. Yeah, and make sure you pronounce the second N in annals for sure. I'm waiting for the big cringe. He hit on a barmaid, that's small potatoes. I'm waiting for the Tsar Bomba. I'm waiting for the career ender. And so the party began to follow the trail to confront the malevolent force. Schopenbeard, albeit reluctantly, acquiesced, and they emerged from the cavern, setting their course southward. But, true to form, our Neckbeard protagonist was not to be outdone in the cringe department. 2 days on the winding road brought them to a quaint town. Weary and in need of supplies, naturally the party made a beeline for the local tavern. To Schopenbeard's dismay, this establishment lacked the anticipated wenches and boasts only a ragged barman. There you go, OP, doing the damn thing. This imaginary world has been irrevocably altered by the presence of Schopenbeard. Now that's power. Schopenbeard was undeterred and, with all the subtlety of a charging bull, announced his presence.
Bring me a flagon of beer and your best wenches.
The unimpressed barman, with a somber tone, retorted,
"Afraid you ain't gonna find any woman in town. All mysteriously disappeared."
That was a cock block.
Yes, dude. This is some good DM work. This is the only way he can play the game. The sorcerer, ever inquisitive, gasped,
"Could this be related to black magic?"
The barman, maintaining his melancholic demeanor, replied,
"Dunno. All's very messy. Only thing we know for sure is that gallops were heard the night that it happened."
Mr. Ozzy, with his rugged pragmatism, asserted,
"Sounds like simple raiders to me."
Mr. Luther, invoking divine insight would detect evil or good, sensed no nefarious presence. He conveyed to the party,
Probably. No evil of the necromantic kind seemed to be sensed around here.
Necromantic. Schopenbeard, undeterred by the somber atmosphere, grinned and remarked,
"But surely there's still a female left in town."
Nope, not a one. Even old Grandma Hudgens got swept away. To guide the narrative and steer clear of potential complications, I, as the GM, took what I thought was a prudent course. I sign off on it. It's exactly what I would have done. Oh, but how wrong I was. Oh no. This is the part where you fuckle your seatbelts, please. The barman, with a hint of relief, responded,
"Only our little girls left, who were at least spared their innocence."
Schopenbeard, in a mischievous manner, stated,
"I see."
Oh god, dude. I fucking hate this every time. We could put him against the wall now, right? And he's gonna put this sickness on full display for the entire party. Yeah, I'm quickly seeing why this session ended. Then, with the enthusiasm of a child unwrapping a Christmas present, he exclaimed,
"Lolly feast!"
We all cringed, except Mr. Luther, who was unaware of internet slang, as Schopenbeard punished us with his dreaded Sanda Shariku. Our eardrums were assaulted, the windows trembled, and the disapproving gaze of theology faculty members pierced our souls. Yeah, thank God they don't know what a lolly feast is supposed to mean. We don't talk like this. That thing you said is despicable. Maybe I can't shoot him for thought crime, but we could definitely take him out back and put the boots to him, right?
Put the boots to him, medium style.
In the aftermath of this cacophony, a high-ranking faculty member, incensed by the disturbance, cast the shadow of eviction upon us. Yet, in this dire moment, fortune favored us. Swiftly, Mr. Luther and I offered heartfelt apologies, promising to refrain from any further disruption. A crisis averted, but a warning heeded. Turning my attention to Schopenbeard, I reprimanded him sternly. Please try to avoid doing that, or else the game will be ruined. His response, devoid of guilt, sorrow, or shame, reverberated through the room.
Yeah, just spare me your PMSing.
I'm still mystified as to how anybody tolerates this guy. None of like these 3 or 4 people will stand up and be like, you know what, this game would be more fun without you here. I don't want to hang out with you anymore. A tiny vein pulsed on my forehead as irritation coursed through me. Schopenbeard's actions were wearing thin on my patience. another beardy transgression, and the wrath of a vengeful DM would descend upon him. Mastering my anger, I urged, let's just press on, but I implore everyone to keep the decibel level in check. Acting as the barman, I said,
What did he say? My daughter is among them.
While motioning, reaching for something behind the bar top. It's a shotgun.
Shoot him in the face.
Shoot me in the face.
Ever the virtuous soul, the sorcerer swiftly intervened, issuing profuse apologies for the wayward comments of our ill-fated companion. With the combination of convincing speeches and a few coins to soothe the wounded sensibilities, we secured our lodging for the night. Everyone except Schopenbeard, who was consigned to the rustic refuge of the barn. Yeah, want to act like an animal? Go out there and sleep with them. Before the party sought repose, the sorcerer posed a crucial question.
Shall we lend our aid to this beleaguered village, or do we press on, my friends?
In his characteristic gruffness, Mr. Ozzy pondered.
Do you think they'll pay us?
Mr. Luther, steadfast in his principles, declared,
Whether in coin or not, the scourge of necromancers and undead demands rebuking. Let us continue our quest.
Oh, continue our quest. Oh.
Schopenbeard, true to form, scoffed,
Nothing for us here. No damsels or wenches or pay. This village is a pit. Onward we should move.
Sounds like unanimous decisions, almost. The sorcerer, who was curious about compensation, learned that there was none, beyond shelter and sustenance in exchange for safeguarding the village. So the decision was made to journey forth. With that settled, each adventurer retreated to their quarters for a night's respite. Cozy sleep. After a hearty breakfast, they departed from the village, resuming their pursuit. Nightfall led them to a humble outpost housing 50 souls, mostly farmers and a couple of town guards. Alas, the outpost bore witness to suffering, its inhabitants draped in rags, plagued by illness, and many wounded. In the face of this hardship, Mr. Luther extended the benevolent hand of his God, healing those who embraced his divine grace. Ozzybeard and the sorcerer fortified the camp, engaging with town guards who recounted tales of mysterious horsemen and a devastating plague. Their coin purses grew heavier as tokens of gratitude, and we all gathered around the campfire to share our tales. And then, of course, as predictable as the rising sun, Schopenbeard posed a question.
Are the women in the outpost hot?
God, dude. Innocently, I responded, yeah, some are, though many are in rags or dirtied by toil or ailing in their health. Out of character, he declared,
I roll to search for the hottest one.
God, dude. Why do we have to do this every single time we stop anywhere? Probably should have just lied and said there are no women here. It's a war front. These are the wounded. Do you need women out here beating back the undead plague? I mean, some people probably do. Annoyed, yet resigned, OP indeed grants this request. The dice spoke with a total of 21. Respecting fate, I narrated, you spot a vision of beauty tending to the wounded. A nun with porcelain skin, blue eyes, and full lips. Triumphant, Schopenbeard declares,
I approached the fair lady and placed my hand on her lower back.
Anticipating the impending cringe, I reluctantly said, roll for grapple. His total reached 17, an ample result for such a creepy act on an unsuspecting NPC. I continued with disdain. As she feels your hand, she startles, screams, and spills hot tea on a gaping wound. In the voice of the nun, I scolded him, What's wrong with you? Get away! Don't you see I'm a woman of God? Yet undeterred, Schopenbeard persisted.
Come on, woman. I could make you feel like a true female. A bit of sinful lust has never hurt anyone.
Oh my God. Why?
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
That's my biggest question. He just wants to RP it out with OP for some reason. It's a table full of dudes, dude! This is getting weird, so I rolled for a kick in the nuts. The dice landed on nat 14, which is a low roll, but enough to make Schopenbeard's character flinch and allow the nun to escape. The rest of the party cringed at this unfolding spectacle. Indignant, Schopenbeard protested,
Hey, what the hell, OP? Didn't you see she was into me?
Yes, this character that you are playing, let me tell you how she feels. What sort of dumb shit? Annoyed, OP retorts, What did you expect? Undeterred, Schopenbeard declared,
I chased after her.
Growing increasingly frustrated, I asserted, No, you can't. Enraged, he questioned me back.
What the hell? Why not?
Seeking to avoid a shouting match, I relented. Fine. Roll for athletics. The half-orc wizard rolled a total of 19, signaling that this ordeal was far from over. Somebody put on the Betty Hill music. This is ridiculous. What's the rest of the party doing while he's literally chasing a woman down? Just twiddle their thumbs. Maybe now's the time for PK or something, you know? Not even the cleric is gonna help out? Okay. Just let him do whatever then, I guess. OP declares, You're able to chase her, but reach the metal door of a small convent which is warded by holy magic. The party cringed again at Schopenbeard's relentless pursuit. Inquisitively, he asked,
Are there windows?
Trolling him further, I replied, Yeah, but they're pretty high. Unfazed, he declared,
And roll for athletics to climb.
Unimpressed, I countered, Go ahead. You have to pass a skill check of 25. And hurry up, because the guards are coming after that scandal. With a roll of 23, he climbed, but not without consequences. I revealed, Before reaching a window, hot oil is dropped on you for 1d4 damage. Time for a saving throw to see if you fall. The dice decided, and with a smug tone, I proclaimed, You fall, while trying to scratch the walls and suffer 3d6 damage. It's probably not going to stop him. If he still has 1 hit point left, he's going to crawl towards that nun. You got to put him out of his misery. He's a rabid dog, okay? His frustration boiled over when I revealed the consequences. As he angrily said, What? I continued, That's not all. You get arrested for disturbing the peace and get the entire party thrown out of the outpost. A collective groan echoed from the party.
Oh, come on.
With a heavy heart, I consoled, You can still camp on the outskirts. They complied, and an awkward silence settled over the campsite as they retired to their tents. Yet Schopenbeard harbored one more beardy trick. In a tone that hinted at impending chaos, Schopenbeard declared,
I'm gonna sneak into the outpost.
Bro, why can't you just fucking, go to sleep? We don't need to stir the pot anymore. An internal sigh echoed, but again, I chose to indulge him, knowing that his actions might soon warrant a reckoning. I reluctantly acquiesced. Okay, roll for sneak. A roll of 14, a mediocre attempt. I narrated, You barely made it in unnoticed. So what do? With smug assurance, he announced,
I'm gonna murder the guards who cast us out.
Oh yeah, good luck. Maintaining a poker face, I replied, Very well. As you approach the unsuspecting guards in their tent, you hear various heavy gallops encircling the outpost. After a short while, the screaming begins. As you look at your surroundings, you feel a bag over your head as some unseen horror kidnaps you. Anger flared within Schopenbeard.
No, you can't do that, OP. Why are you being such a dick?
Brace yourselves for the climax, where I unleash a fitting twist of retribution upon our unruly protagonist. I narrated the scene. Oh, it gets better. As the bag is lifted from your head, you see yourself strapped to a tree, stripped of your belongings, and then you spot the mysterious figures. A whole party of 20 minotaurs. Each one of them beats you senseless for what seems like days. 20 Minotaurs punching a sorcerer, dude? He's not gonna make it to the second round. Schopenbeard, attempting to conceal his anger, chuckled awkwardly as the story progressed. The party stumbled upon him later, emaciated, almost dead, and bound to the same tree. They untied him and, weary from the journey, continued their southward trek. The fatigue had settled upon us all, prompting the conclusion of the session. As we bid our goodbyes, we dispersed, each venturing back into the realms of our daily lives. Alas, that marked the campaign's swan song. Schopenbeard's disruptive antics, combined with the ebb and flow of life's demands, led to the campaign's untimely demise. I'm kind of disappointed, but at least we got to see a guy beat up by 20 Minotaurs, you know? Post this encounter, my encounters with Schopenbeard dwindled, mercifully so, as he found camaraderie among a group of like-minded neckbeard theologians. Grateful for this newfound distraction, he redirected his attention away from me, yet the tale doesn't end here, as I still had one more peculiar encounter with him, a tale that intertwines with the saga of my very own Neckbeard stalker, but that, dear readers, is a story for the next and final tale. I bid you farewell, and may your day be nothing short of awesome, exquisite, and even magnificent. Damn, dude, again, nobody really addressed it. Like, you punished him in-game a little bit, but I don't think you drove the point home because, yeah, there are certain things that should be discussed out of character. At least outline how he's ruining the fun for everybody else. He's making this all about himself and his dick. And that ain't no fun. Nobody wants to play with that, do they, Schopenbeard?
No, they don't. It's gross.
So let's see the final part. The Saga of Schopenbeard Revisited. Part 7. Schopenbeard's Last Sanda Shuriku. And indeed, greetings, my esteemed connoisseurs of beardly tales. Join me for the grand finale of the Saga of Schopenbeard. In this concluding chapter, we delve into my ultimate encounter with Schopenbeard just before he embraced the sanctuary of his new Neckbeard coven. Brace yourselves, for this narrative also intertwines with the curious chronicle of my Neckbeard stalker, and if your interest is piqued, I may regale you with that story in written form as well. Without further ado, let us embark on this last escapade. And needless to say, yeah, of course I'm curious. Neckbeard Stalker, hell yeah! Tales of this time, but it always has a fun new twist. So allow me to reintroduce the cast list, which we're gonna skip over because we know OP and Schopenbeard and Mr. Ozzy, but there is Betty Beard, the Neckbeard Stalker, standing at 5'6", fat, and donning greasy black long hair, dorky glasses, brackets, braces, and an acne-ridden visage. While not particularly odorous, her fashion sense consisted of jean overalls, t-shirts, and Converse-style shoes. Socially awkward, but harboring manipulative and scheming tendencies, imagine a shorter, chubbier, and less appealing version of Ugly Betty. What the fuck is Ugly Betty? God, I missed this shit completely. I've never been gladder to not know about a show. Unfortunately, now the information's there. It's like they took a 90s rom-com and they're just like, yeah, we'll make a TV series about it. Poof out her hair, give her braces and glasses. Now she's so ugly. Oh my god, she did her makeup. Now she's so beautiful. 'Cause Ugly Betty was never ugly at all, you see? She was always beautiful on the inside. Aww. You think I need to waste 4 fucking seasons of a TV show to know that? Please, spare me. So, with our dew of the mountain and Doritos at the ready, let this tale unfold. Once again, the hallowed grounds of our university set the stage for another chapter in the ongoing saga, this time at the renowned coffee shop featured in our prior tales. In a plot twist that might seem incongruous with academia, Mr. Ozzy and I found ourselves deep in discussion about the acquisition of a rather unconventional item, acid. Yeah, drugs and university lifestyle. A combination so cliche it hurts. I'm glad you got to experience that, OP. I'm firmly of the belief that everybody should experience it at least once in their lifetime. Set 12 hours aside to change your whole life. Better, worse, I don't know, but it will change. So we decide that Port Andrew, a mall shrouded in secrecy, where contraband and knockoffs abound, would be the ideal locale for our quest. With our plan set, we aim to embark on this adventure on Friday post-classes. As Friday arrives, our vehicle awaits, and Mr. Ozzy and I deliberate our post-expedition plans. The agenda: a return to Mr. Ozzy's abode for our customary D&D campaign. Our companions for this endeavor include the Sorcerer, Abraham Lincoln, our neckbeard-clad friend, and Bob, the artist with a penchant for recreational herbs. Well, I hope you kids succeed in your journey. Hell of a way to start a weekend. Amidst our preparations, Betty Beard, a familiar acquaintance of Mr. Ozzy's, overhears our conversation and interjects. "Please, OP, let me go too. I just want to see what all the fuss is about." Detecting an elusive undertone in her plea, I chose to overlook it, as you do. Assuming our final destination is Mr. Ozzy's house. Little did I know, this seemingly innocuous decision would pave the way for an unsettling encounter later that night, a tale reserved for another time. Unperturbed by these potential complications, Mr. Ozzy calmly agrees.
Yeah, I don't see a problem.
Despite my reservations, I sternly concede, sure, whatever. That's the strongest stance you've taken so far in this saga, OP. Betty Beard, brimming with excitement, expresses her gratitude. "Yeah, thanks. I need to swing by my house for some clothes, though." Taken aback, I inquired, "Oh, why?" Her response, delivered with a smug tone, unveiled her intentions. "Well, of course, silly. I'm gonna spend the night there. It'll be too late for public transport to where I'm staying." Dude, no, not sober, definitely not when you're frying. This is bad juju right now, I'm bailing out.
I'm not liking these vibes at all.
A foreboding sense creeps over me, a premonition that this journey might take an unexpected turn. Dude, it will. Is it too late to turn back? You would just take a few Xanax and knock out? I've only had a couple bad trips, but yeah, it is something that needed to happen more than once.
Gotta play it safe out there, kids.
So, despite Betty Beard residing far from the university and Mr. Ozzy's abode, the proximity to Port Andrews and our habitual post-campaign stay at Mr. Ozzy's house persuaded me to disregard my instincts once again. With an air of reluctance, I acquiesced. Fine. Where do you live? Unfazed, Betty Beard, maintaining her smug demeanor, responds, "Really close to Port Andrews. I'll show you." Dismissively, I think, okay, it's close. Whatever. However, an approaching disturbance shatters my peace. None other than the mighty Schopenbeard, drawn to our unfolding plans like a moth to a flame.
"Hey, OP, hope you aren't leaving me behind for the ride, right?"
he said as he waddled closer to us. Oh, god damn it, dude. One beard wasn't bad enough. Now we've got to deal with two of them? I don't care what your plans were, definitely do not put that in your mouth before you've lost the beards. Do you hear me? You will be sucked into a spiraling hell pit. It will be a bad trip. Please don't do this to yourself. Compelled by a lack of fortitude and Schopenbeard's still amicable connection with Mr. Ozzy, I reluctantly concede to the mighty Beard's request. Little did I know, this decision would soon plunge me into a maelstrom of a car ride, trapped along both sides a neckbeard and a legbeard in the throes of heavy traffic. What could possibly go wrong? I think it's going wrong already. Open up the sunroof, stick your head out. You gotta get some air somehow.
What kind of place is this?
Our eclectic party assembled, and we boarded into my mom's car, graciously lent to me for the occasion. You probably didn't tell her where you're going, right? Can I borrow the car? I'm gonna go pick up some Sid. Positioned in the driver's seat beside Mr. Ozzy, with the beards occupying the back seat, I kickstart the engine and cue some music to lighten the mood. Pink Floyd, dude. That shit'll get your mind right. As we navigate the congested streets of our town, Schopenbeard's political musings pierce the air with an unexpected and righteous fervor.
You know, I just don't understand why people go to church and believe in God. Don't they see it stupid? God's not real. Even if he was, he's a heartless bastard for letting that much evil in the world. That's why I agree with Schopenhauer.
Yeah, shocker, right?
Life is suffering, and the only thing we can do is accept it and avoid increasing and spreading the suffering.
You really took the first half of that sentence to heart and completely disregarded the second half, the arguably most important half. Arthur Schopenhauer would find you to be a disgrace, sir. He's rolling over in his grave. Unwilling to plunge into a theological debate, I chose the sanctity of silence, my gaze fixated on the gridlock ahead. However, the philosophical banter takes center stage as Mr. Ozzy and Betty Beard seize the opportunity for discourse. Mr. Ozzy, leading the charge, responds to Schopenbeard's euphoric tirade.
Yeah, besides, they murdered many people in the name of their God, while priests hurt little kids, and they tell us that we Satanists are the evil ones.
NOP wants to clarify that here, the term Satanist really just serves as a badge of atheistic edginess, a label that Mr. Ozzy embraces. Yeah, sure, why not, stupid? What do words even mean anymore? Betty Beard interjects, contributing to the burgeoning discussion.
The Spanish Inquisition was the best example of that. Not to mention the genocide of indigenous people.
In the face of this lively exchange, I maintained my steadfast silence. Schopenbeard, adhering to his typical misogynistic demeanor, disregarded Betty Beard's input and presence, directing his attention fully towards Mr. Ozzy.
I know. Imagine going to church as a kid. That's a sure way to get impaled.
As he released a Sanda Shiriku. A sonic assault that impacted me for 2d6 sonic damage. The cacophony of beliefs and words permeated the car, creating a tiring unilateral debate amidst the monotony of traffic. Yay, isn't this so fun? I can't wait to do this while I'm fried out of my mind. These thoughts mixing with my own thoughts. Oh God, please no! Time slipped away, and the encroaching darkness of the evening began to cast shadows over our journey. A quick glance at the clock revealed the unwelcome truth: 6:56 p.m., a realization made all the more frustrating by the perpetual grip of town traffic. Port Andrews, our intended destination, was poised to close its doors at 7, and our chances of reaching it in time were dwindling. Damn, dude. Sucks to suck. Interrupting the euphoric banter swirling within the confines of the car, I directed my attention to Mr. Ozzy. Mr. Ozzy, Port Andrews is almost closed. We'll have to buy our products some other day. Maybe next week. Honestly, I'm telling you, Pete, thank God for that. That is a blessing in disguise, whether you realize it now or not. Acknowledging the logistical challenge presented by the ticking clock, Mr. Ozzy concurred. Our plans, it seemed, were about to take an unexpected detour. I turned my focus to Betty Beard. Well, looks like our plans have changed. Can you give us directions to where you're staying, Betty Beard? Her response, accompanied by a nod of approval, carried an air of cheerful optimism.
Sure thing, just keep straight and then go left and straight again. I'll show you where to enter. If you need references, it's very close to the Motel L'Amour.
Now, unlike the American version, the motels in our part of the world were synonymous with clandestine rendezvous, especially with the elusive ladies of the night. Yeah, it's just like Japanese love hotels, or like those pay-by-the-hour hotels of the Philippines. You know what them's is for, right? Anyway, Bettybeard's seemingly innocent reference to Motel L'Amour added a layer of ambiguity, leaving me to ponder whether there was more beneath the surface. Following Bettybeard's directions, our expedition led us to a newly erected building that towered over the surroundings. As we entered the parking lot, Bettybeard, with an air of unwarranted cheerfulness, extended an invitation.
Come on, you can wait for me in the living room. I'm sure my roommates won't mind.
Yeah, how about I just wait in the car and then also drive it away when you leave? An internal plea to wait in the confines of the car lingered in my thoughts, but fortune had other plans. Just as the prospect of entering unfamiliar quarters began to settle, Schopenbeard, who had maintained a stoic silence until then, suddenly sprang to life in his usual manner.
Are they females?
He inquired, a spark of curiosity igniting in his eyes. Oh boy, well, something tells me those women might be ugly and therefore safe from Schopenbeard. He seems to have a type, like most incels, of just women completely out of his league. Well, Bettybeard was oblivious to this storm that was brewing, and she innocently affirmed, "Yes," and Schopenbeard's response, a lascivious gesture accompanied by a low chuckle, revealed his true intentions. Like a child poised to enter a candy store, he wasted no time in declaring,
"Let's go, OP. It isn't polite to ignore a lady's request."
"No, you go. I want to stay." As the small elevator ascended to the 15th floor, a shared look between Mr. Ozzy and myself acknowledged the looming presence of Schopenbeard's infamous eccentricities. While we braced ourselves for what lay ahead, Schopenbeard's unwavering determination propelled us forward. We followed, if anything, to perhaps avert a potential tragedy. That's true. Send a Schopenbeard up there all by his lonesome. That is a recipe for disaster. The confines of the elevator left us uncomfortably close due to the imposing mass of both Schopenbeard and Mr. Ozzy. Sandwiched between them, I found myself in close proximity to the seemingly pleased Bettybeard. A silent prayer of relief echoed through my thoughts as the elevator mercifully opened its doors. Oh, come on, OP, we have so many horrors left to show you. A brisk march through a nondescript hallway led us to our destination. In a hushed whisper, Schopenbeard, clearly undeterred by the circumstances, posed an unsettling query.
Do you think they're hot? 'Cause I'm starving for some prime cattle.
You have to stop eating cows. I'm a cow.
You're disgusting. Opting for silence, I held my reservations as Bettybeard, with a hint of enthusiasm, declared, "Here it is! Let's go in!" Upon entering the small apartment, with its modest offering of 2 rooms, a kitchen, and a living room, Schopenbeard's delight reached new heights. To his satisfaction, 4 females awaited within the confines of Bettybeard's dwelling. While most appeared quite ordinary, there was one who stood out, possessing a somewhat reasonable level of attractiveness. Yeah, right, dude. Why do you want to embarrass yourself like this? The unbridled glee and palpable lust emanating from Schopenbeard poisoned the awkward atmosphere. In a disgusting move, he unleashed his famous Gyoshi Faku upon all present, leaving the unsuspecting inhabitants visibly uncomfortable with 2d8 psychic damage. They did their best to avoid interaction with our party. As our eclectic group settled on a couch, awaiting Bettybeard's return, Schopenbeard, ever the purveyor of discomfort, leaned in to share his unsettling thoughts.
They endure for a clutching, don't you think, OP?
The term clutching unfolded as a vulgar metaphor, alluding to the crude act of inserting oneself akin to pressing the clutch in a car for a gear change. The disgusting imagery left my spine pulverized, a silent testament to the depths of Schopenbeard's depravity. He's gonna sit here and talk all his shit and never make a move. I guess he truly does know better. Fortunately, Betty Beard returned promptly, sparing me from further agony. We swiftly exited the apartment and reboarded the car. As the journey to Mr. Ozzy's house unfolded, my memory of the ensuing conversation faded, obscured by the cringe-induced pains that had already set in. One noteworthy detail, however, lingered. Schopenbeard expressed a reluctance to visit Mr. Ozzy's residence. Seizing the opportunity to alleviate my burden, I gladly agreed to drop him off at his house. With Schopenbeard's departure, we proceeded to our intended destination, Mr. Ozzy's house, where an encounter with my Neckbeard stalker awaited, an episode deserving of its own saga, with Schopenbeard playing a more minor role. As the curtains close on this double-beard spectacle, my interactions with Schopenbeard did indeed dwindle. Our paths diverged, with Schopenbeard immersing himself into the company of his newfound neckbeard coven. Gratitude washed over me like a cleansing tide, marking the end of the saga of Schopenbeard. Overall, it was a fun saga to take a ride through. He's not the worst beard that we've ever seen on the channel. He's a lot of bark and no bite, which I guess I can accept if I'm given a choice. I'd like to slap a muzzle on him so I don't have to experience either one, but apparently that's not an option. At least OP finally escaped, I guess. I sincerely hope you found enjoyment in this narrative, and as always, thank you for sharing a slice of your precious time. The prospect of chronicling the escapades of my Neckbeard stalker looms on the horizon. If such a tale piques your interest, let me know. A yes. Wishing you an awesome, exquisite, and magnificent day, and until we meet again, hopefully in the next saga.
Well, where is it? I'm chomping at the bit here.
I know I'm delving off, going sorts of crazy, but there's always room for beardery on the channel, isn't there? I'm glad Schopenbeard wasn't the worst we've seen. Still pretty bad, though.
Still pretty hateable.
Probably the most hateable thing was going after imaginary kids. I don't care if they are imaginary. I don't care if that's a joke. I got kids and I will stab you for... Well, I'm not going to stab... I'll pay somebody else to do it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this saga, friends. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate that. Patreon and YouTube members are really helping to support every month as well. They're doing the most to keep them afloat, and thank you so much to each and every one of them. If you can't afford to do it, no sweat. I just appreciate you watching this far, honestly. MVP plays out here. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Promise swears it's just a fact.